On today's show, Tyler Jones is back for part 2 of a wide-ranging free agency, drafts, trades, everything in between conversation, and it's coming up right now.
You are Locked On Hawks, your daily Atlanta Hawks podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Hello, friends. Welcome to episode 2012 of the Locked On Hawks podcast. I am your host, Rowland, coming to you on a Sunday here at the end of June. And today's podcast is brought to you by folks at Monarch Money. Take control of your finances right now with Monarch Money and use code LOCKEDONNBA at monarchmoney.com for half off your first year. I also want to encourage you at the top of the show to make us your first listen each and every day here at Locked On Hawks. Check us out and subscribe to this podcast anywhere you find your podcasts, Apple, Spotify, YouTube, etc. Tell your friends as well, and I appreciate you being here as always. Stop now, though. If you missed part 1, that is the place to begin. Part 1 should be available in this same podcast feed right now. It also dropped on Sunday, so start there for the chronological, kind of the way that it's supposed to flow conversation. But part 1's available right now. Listen to that one first, and then here we go with myself and Tyler Jones and part 2.
Take it away from Asa and just bring it back to the team construct. Aren't Hawks fans happy that they're no longer going to see a David Roddy type power forward playing minutes at the NBA? I'm excited. I'm like, oh, no more small ball fours who can't jump and protect the rim and rebound the ball. Sign me up. I don't care. Oh no, Asa Newell, he's just a run and jump guy. He's just Obi Toppin maybe or something. Give me Obi Toppin.
Yeah.
Sign me up. Sign me up for Obi Toppin. I don't care.
I'm not even the biggest Obi Toppin guy in the world, but if 23, that'd be great.
I don't think Obi Toppin's good at all. But guess what? He was, he almost gimmicked his ways to an NBA title, just running his butt off on offense every time he could. And he also, to his immense credit, he's gotten a lot better with the Pacers. The Pacers, of course, credit to them.
They've done a very good job,
and they've done a great job taking swings on guys that teams have given up on and reevaluate, putting them in a better context, similar to what I think I was going to do with Asa Newell, put them in a better context that fits their strengths and hides their weaknesses a lot better. And I think the biggest reason why you should be excited for the Hawks is that, guess what? Oh, Asa Newell, his biggest weakness is that he's a tweener. Well, guess who the Hawks just acquired to play either power forward or center? The best one of the greatest 7-foot 3-point shooters in NBA history, and Kristaps Porzingis. Potentially, considering he shoots it with, the greatest 3-point shooter. It's between him and Karl-Anthony Towns to me. But you get offensive weapon where you can, guess what? You can play him next to a center or a power forward. It doesn't matter because he has the size defensively to cover, on that side of the floor. And then offensively, he has to be guarded at the 3-point line. So, and smaller players can't handle smaller guy. And he's become such a mismatch nightmare. Long story short, you can get away with playing an Asa Newell who might be a tweener. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter because you can play him next to a KP. Now you're getting his value on the offensive end while not losing anything on defense. That's just such a massive, that is a real way to elevate your team. Just that aside. And that's why I'm he's a perfect fit for what the Hawks are going to be going forward. To me, at least. Again, there might have been other guys that other people like, but like I said to David Lee, and make sure you're watching, following D Lee 43 on Twitter. I can gaslight myself, and I can gaslight other people on anything the Hawks do, and I'm maybe I've gaslit myself a bit on Asa Newell, but I'm actually he has a lot of impressive film on him, just overall. I think with what the Hawks are as a team right now, I think he's a great addition to their front court.
I would certainly agree with the Newell characterization. Look, if you gave me the entire field of guys drafted below him, someone will probably be better than him. That's just kind of the nature of the beast in the NBA draft. But I like the pick. It works. And you brought up the team context. So let's go to that now about Porzingis and talk about that trade, because you and I have talked about it offline and a little bit on Twitter, but not in this form. It's a swing. We know that. But also it's a swing for the cost of very, very little, which is the best kind of swing. Porzingis is very good at basketball when he is available to play. And that's the biggest thing. We all know that. They know that. I mean, the Hawks can't talk about it on the record yet, but I'm sure when they do, honestly, will at least tacitly acknowledge that, of course, Kristaps has not had the best health history in recent days. But the shooting you already brought up, absolute bomber. Like there are centers who can shoot, and there are centers who hunt shots, and he is one of those. Like he's a real shooter with distance. He can shoot over anybody because he's so tall, 7'2", 7'3", like legitimately massive human being. And
quick release, quick
release, and gets closed out on it too. Like that's the other thing. Defenses react to him. A lot of centers that can kind of shoot, defenses are like, you know what, man, go ahead. He and that. They will fly out on him. And that creates space for everybody else, creates space for Trae, Jalen, anybody you want to say on the roster. So I know you liked it because we've talked about it and you've tweeted about it, but going back to Porzingis in the trade, at the price of essentially a pick in the 20s, they like George Niang, so do I, but a fringy guy, 8-9 rotation player, like totally fine player, but not a difference maker, expiring contract. And then Terrence Mann, who I think is actually not bad. He's not a bad player, but he's on a kind of a bad contract, and they had to get off of that, and they think they were motivated to. The one thing that actually got out, by the way, to your point earlier in this conversation about like the Hawks being buttoned up that I've made too, the one thing that was kind of making its way out there was that Terrence Mann was like a priority to get off of for them. That was like the loudest thing that was out there. Honestly, if anything with the Hawks is like, hey, they really want to get rid of Terrence Mann. Not because they don't want Terrence Mann, just the contract, and 3 years of the contract was the biggest thing. So anyway, long story short, what do you think of this? What is on lock? What's the Tyler Jones reaction to the Kristaps Porzingis trade?
I mean, it goes back to my process point. They saw the Celtics were in duress because they weren't going to pay however many millions of dollars over, they were not going to pay a $500 million tax bill.
Without Tatum available, by the way.
Without Tatum available. And so the Hawks were like, hey, we're in a unique position. We can save you guys $200 million and give you like George Niang as well, who's a real NBA rotation player that if he's on the team would help them. You're not getting a pick because we got to get rid of this man contract. Sorry, bros. But like, and I think it helps. The reason why the Hawks could do this and take this flyer on Porzingis is because they already have Onyeka Okongwu and Jalen Johnson. So they're not starved for a start. They can afford to pay Kristaps Porzingis and have him be a luxury item. Similar to what the Celtics did. That's how the Celtics were able to. Other teams could not afford Kristaps Porzingis to be the guy because you can't trust his injury risk, health. The Hawks were like, I mean, if he gets hurt, it's not the end of the world as long as he's going to give us.
Yeah, the Hawks were like, we have a starting center on the team already, which makes
we have a very good center and a very good power forward on the team already, and then we drafted another guy who we think is going to be good as well. He's a luxury item, but to me, he's a luxury item that could potentially elevate the Hawks from they were already going to be a good team. They were already going to be a good team to potentially title contenders next year. Like, I don't say this lightly about, and I say title contenders in this way. I think Porzingis and Quinn's system in particular, next to Trae Young, has a chance to average comfortably over 25 points a game on elite efficiency.
So you said that, and I'm not picking on you. I think that's a little high, only because of the minutes. I don't think he's going to play that much. But when I say that much, I mean he might be like 27 minutes a game, and it's really hard to average 25 a game, 27 minutes. Not that he couldn't do it, but it's like I get your points. Your point's right though. The ceiling is very high, like very.
The reason why I say this is that he is clearly, to me, he's the best scorer on the team just because of his efficiency. And the fact that, you talked about, teams will close out on him. He can attack the closeout. He can score in the post against smaller players. And who What NBA player in basketball is better at creating advantages than Trae Young right now? It's what, Jokic?
Yeah, there might be a few, but he's on the list.
Trae Young is going to get like shot quality, right? Hawks led the NBA last year in shot quality.
Yep.
Mediocre finishers. Porzingis might be the best finisher, like one of the best play finishers in the sport, period. And so, like, that's where I'm like, he's going to get a lot of opportunity to score. They're going to feed him a lot of volume, and I'm pretty sure he's on the contract here. I don't know if the Hawks are going to want to extend him or not. We'll see in the next couple of months or now. I don't think the Hawks are in any rush to add guaranteed salary right now to their situation. I think they might want to see how it plays out. But I'm just like, Porzingis is probably motivated to get his numbers, to play more, and also to showcase that he's an all-star level player. He is flat out the best player Trae Young's ever played.
I was actually going to ask that question. So
it's not particularly close either.
I would say, how do I say this? I think the best version of Porzingis is that. I'm with you on that. I would maybe draw the line at like when you factor everything in. I'm not sure. Like
the Porzingis of the last 3 years is comfortably the best player Trae Young has ever played with. Like I'm talking about the 1 year with the Wizards and the last 2 years with the Celtics when he's on the floor out on a per minute basis. If you want to argue,
we don't have to litigate that, but I think it's a very reasonable point. He does have like top 30 in the league upside when he's right. Like he's been an all-star. Well, I think only once, but he's been an all-star and like deservedly so. And on a permanent basis in Boston, he was playing at an all-star level. It's just he didn't play enough games.
He was playing at all NBA. Like I was shocked at his 3-point attempt rate. His free throw attempt rate. Not just 3-point and his free throw rate. Like he gets to the free throw line consistently. Like at Trae Young levels. So now the Hawks have 2 guys who are elite foul grifters in the game. I want to ask you. Go ahead. That's how you build an elite offense. 2 guys who can get theirs, whether they have they're on or not with their shot. Like that's why I'm like, whoa, hold up. And like Porzingis, the biggest thing that Porzingis has changed over the course of his career is when he was with the Mavs, he settled for a lot of post ups, but he was just standing still on the post ups.
Bad ones too, yeah.
Now he's a much better post-up player because he's always on the move. He's putting pressure on guys. He's getting back screens and he's on the move, playing off the catch in the post instead of just trying to hold his position when he's a weaker player. Now he's playing on the catch and using his size and his shooting touch to his immense advantage. And the game of basketball has just gotten so much easier for him. That's why I'm like, he's motivated to play as much as possible. Play as many minutes as possible. And I just think considering the Hawks' lack of real scoring options on the team, there is he's on the Celtics, Jason Tatum got to eat, Jaylen Brown got to eat. On the Hawks, Trae Young has shown he's willing to spread the wealth. Yeah. There is to me, I think there's a real vacuum for somebody to overtake Trae as a scorer on the team. And I think Porzingis is in more so, I can say, than any other basketball player that's ever been on the Hawks in the Trae Young era. I think Porzingis has the offensive talent to overtake him, at least be the quote-unquote number 1 option. Because I think I think both Trae and the Hawks don't want Trae Young to continue to take those lumps as the smallest player on the floor, as the number 1 guy. I do think they want to ease up a little bit more on him so that he can maintain throughout, have a long and healthy career, basically.
Today's show is brought to you by Monarch Money. Do you ever wish that managing your money felt just a little bit easier? With Monarch Money, it can absolutely do that. Whether you're growing your savings or planning a big purchase, Monarch Money puts you in the driver's seat. It's like having your own personal CFO, giving you full visibility and control over your finances all the time. Monarch Money is more than a budgeting app. It's instead a complete financial command center for you. You can track all of your accounts, your investments, and your spending all in one place. So in addition to managing your money, you're also building wealth at the same time. Having all your financial tools in one place makes it easier as well and more convenient for you. So there's no wasting time juggling multiple apps. And if you're anything like me, you might have a ton of subscriptions piled up, for instance, from the past. fast, and Monarch Money can help you clean that up in a hurry and much more. Take control of your finances right now with the folks at Monarch Money. And use code LOCKEDONNBA at monarchmoney.com for 50% off your first year with Monarch Money. One more time, the place to go is monarchmoney.com. The code is LOCKEDONNBA for half off your first year. I want to ask about the defense a little bit too, because before we go crazy long, I know I got to get you out the door to go to the Atlanta Dream game tonight. This afternoon. Defensively, obviously people know he's massive. The mythical 7-footer that I always reference. He is a fantastic rim protector. That's number one on the list for him. Like, it's by far his best skill defensively. He's really good at it. The numbers bear that out. In addition to just being massive, he's good at it. I said this the other day. People got mad at me. And I wasn't framing it as a negative. I would say everything else in his defensive game is not incredible. Like, there's some stuff that he's fine at. He's obviously, it helps to be huge. He feels the game pretty well. But he's not the most nimble on the perimeter at this point. He's going to be 30. He isn't a great rebounder. Like, I was poking fun of that, but Okongwu was a better rebounder than Porzingis. Like, that's not even up for debate. And Okongwu, I know he's 6 inches shorter, but like, that's just real. But I say that you're playing him with Okongwu or with Jalen, who are both good rebounders, which helps that. You can put him in situations to succeed. So one of the things that we talked about with Glenn and Kevin and all four of us in different combinations is like they've had kind of like two defenses with Capella and Okongwu. They might have to do that again because Porzingis can't play the same way Okongwu plays defensively. Like, at least not exactly the same way. So what do you think about that?
I think I'm going to slightly disagree with you here.
That's fine.
In that I think they're going to play one way, and that one way is going to be Porzingis is never leaving the paint, right? But also,
yeah, I mean,
I think to me, they're going to play multiple ways, but they're clearly going to have multiple defensive schemes. But I think this is to their benefit, where it's easier, right? Where I think the biggest advantage that the Hawks have is that they have these athletic monsters in Jalen Johnson and Onyeka Okongwu who can cover for Porzingis and play out on the perimeter. While also those two can play together. We know they can play together and play some good defense together with the Hawks, current defensive infrastructure.
And we've also seen Porzingis play with another big before a lot. Like, him and Al Horford have played a lot of minutes together. And Al Horford is very similar to Onyeka in multiple ways.
Yeah, so like defense is going to be interesting, but like overall, it's going to be a net positive, primarily because at least in the if we want to playoff contention, it's the different regular season. It's an easy win. It's an easy win button. Most teams can't take advantage of his lack of foot speed as a center.
Yep.
And the Hawks are going to cover for him. Like the Hawks have the physical talents to cover for him defensively with their options there. So like overall,
some breaking news as we're recording this, just to be fun. Julius Randle, 3 years, $100 million in Minnesota. Just
that's
saying.
Not bad.
That's
for him.
It's not. We'll come back to that at the end of the podcast about the Kill Alexander Walker and all that. It literally just happened now. My phone's in front of me. So go ahead. Little diversion.
Yeah, but like overall, I think he's a good defender. He has this clear flaws that I think we're gonna see play out more during the course of the high maintenance games, the high when they're playing the elite teams. But the Hawks' biggest issue, even last year, even when they had all their guys, was that while they could compete with the elites, it was always harder. Again, it was harder than it needed to be against the less talented teams, just because of a variety of issues. Biggest one being depth, but overall. But now they have it again. Like I said, when you have an elite rim protector, and Porzingis is an elite rim protector for center.
He's very good at it.
It simplifies the game a little bit more during the regular season. Playoffs is a different discussion. Quinn's going to have to be willing to sit him flat out against certain matchups.
Yeah,
he's probably
and that's what Boston did. That's what Boston did too. And this will be a lot of this, to your point, will be way down the line conversations. I actually already talked to someone who covers the Celtics an interview that I'll release later when I have time to release it, because there's so much going on right now. But they said the same thing. It was basically like, in the playoffs, he has limitations, and that's fair. It very much is. But
to his credit, in the playoffs, Like when he made it to the finals and he played on that.
Yeah, when he came back,
he was incredible. And like his rim protection was a difference in the series. Like
it's just matchup based. It's matchup based. It's all it is. Like you're playing a team that can burn him on the outside. You might have to play him in a smaller role, so he becomes like a normal backup center. And in a certain matchup, he might be 35 minutes a game in the playoffs. You just don't know what it's going to look like. And again, hopefully that's a rich man's problem that you're in the playoffs.
Because the Hawks got Onyeka on this when we're stealing money from him and his family deal.
Very, very team friendly contract. That's correct.
I mean, Julius Randle making $300, and Naz Reid making $125, while Onyeka Okongwu was on a 4-year.
Yeah. All you need to see is the Okongwu was making like 2/3. No, wait. Not even 2/3, 60% of Naz Reid's contract. And I think Okongwu was better than Naz Reid, personally. So it is what it is.
His agent.
No, he signed early. And look, hey, he signed early. He got the security. A lot of guys do that, honestly.
Hey, look, man, Landry, to his immense credit, he had his flaws. I think we've talked about it a lot.
Back-to-back good extensions.
He was great at selling guys on a vision and getting them to commit to less than what their market value was.
Jalen and Onyeka back-to-back years.
Jalen and Onyeka and DeJounte Murray as well. Being able to convince DeJounte Murray to sign that deal.
It worked out.
Where we literally stole money from his future children. I felt bad for him, but he signed the deal. Like
he sure did.
I mean, I think he's happy he signed the deal now because of
it worked out fine.
Unfortunate, unfortunate for what happened to him. But like still, at the time, he had the Hawks over a barrel, and he gave the Hawks a break. And so it probably, granted, I'm pretty sure that maybe they had some backdoor negotiation before they traded for him that, hey, if you want to play for the Hawks,
but
you gotta sign this deal.
It did work out. Look, a lot has
that value contract got them out of the mess they put themselves in. But still, you know, they're a lot
going
better
back
team.
Going back to the original point.
They're a significantly better position now than before they traded DeJounte Murray because he took that deal. That's the biggest point I'm trying to make.
I mean, a lot had to go. Look, I hated the first DeJounte trade. I didn't like it the first day they did it. But it went worse than I thought it was going to go. Anyway, all that said, from the time, basically starting with DeJounte signing the extension, to your point exactly, from that moment until now, a lot has gone really, really well for the Hawks. Now, on the court, I get it, less so. And a lot of fans will tell me, I'm sure in response to this, well, we don't care because they're in the play-in. Cool. If they're in the play-in this coming season, they're going to get a lot of heat for that.
Yeah.
But the in between season we just covered in full was a retooling season. We said that before the season started. They operated that way. You don't have to agree with that operation, but from when DeJounte signed the extension until now, the health of the organization is like night and day. They restocked the conference in the draft. They have future picks. They have a clean cap sheet. They have 0 bad contracts at this very moment. 0 bad contracts. Dyson Daniels, all those things. So a lot's gone really well, starting with DeJounte signing the extension. So, hey, shouts to him for signing.
And probably most important thing, and I think this is what we'll talk about next, they've actually built the team around Trae Young. That makes sense.
They have. And, yeah, they have.
You know, they went from a bunch of offensive first guys to we're going to mismatch with Capella and whoever in Okongwu and like not have a consistent plan on offense or defense because of it, to now where it's like offensively we play this way, defensively we're going to play this way, and we have the size, length, and athleticism to support somebody as small as Trae Young. I mean, that's just the reality. Like Trae's, at the end of the day, Trae's too small and not big enough to switch, and so you're just limited in what you can do defensively. You have to surround him with elite size and elite athleticism, and they've done it. And so now it's, you know, this is a big year for Trae. We'll see if he signs an extension or not. But this is a team where if I'm the Hawks organization, I'm like, all right, Trae, you consider yourself one of the best players in the league. Lead this team to a top 2-3 seed in the Eastern Conference. Lead them. And we'll pay you whatever you want if you do that.
We don't know right now the extension. Again, we're talking Sunday afternoon. People were excited, and I think rightly so, that Trae was there for Asa Newell's intro press conference. That was it's not, I would never want to overweight that in the way that some people did, but it was notable. You got your star player and franchise player in the front row of your 23rd pick's intro press conference. It wasn't a top 5 pick. That was a very normal, not a huge day kind of thing. And Trae's front row and prominent. That's notable to me. So he's, as I would say in the whole summer so far, he is bought in from what I understand. Does that mean he'll sign an extension? No, it doesn't mean that. But I think he'll be on the team. And I think that if they sign him an extension, great. If they don't, he's got a player option next year. They can sign him during the season. Also, he's eligible all year long. If things are going well, maybe they reconvene and do it again later. That's a big domino. I do want to ask you, because I know we're running out of time, about other stuff they can do. There's lots of topics people ask me every 5 minutes right now about Nickeil Alexander-Walker, Ty Jerome, the Caris LeVert situation. I think the Malik Beasley thing that we talked about at the very beginning of this might actually be bad for the Hawks in pursuing Nickeil Alexander-Walker, because Detroit now might have more space to pursue him, and they have cap space. My phone's blowing up about Julius Randle things and that impact on. I think Alexander Walker is going to leave Minnesota. We kind of knew that. Now we almost certainly know it after the Randle deal. So, who do you want him to sign? Who is, as Hawks fan that you are, who do you want them to pursue? Obviously, you can't choose exactly, but within reason, what would your priority be if you're the Hawks right now? Non-trade division.
I want to maybe take the player's name out of it and just more about the role that the Hawks need. Yeah. They clearly need another creator, probably 2, honestly. Yeah, and they need another point, and they need a point of attack defender, another point of attack defender. So Nickeil Alexander-Walker is probably would be my number 1 target for this way. I think defensively he's very good, and then offensively I think he has more than what he's shown. I think he's shown it in small doses. And in a Hawks context, I think he'd do really well in the Hawks system offensively in ways that he hasn't been able to showcase. So that's when I can understand him being number 1, primarily also because he's the younger of. If you're asking me who would I rather have, Nickeil Alexander-Walker or Caris LeVert, I'd want both. But I was going to say both. I'd have to choose. I'd take Nickeil just because he's the younger player and he has more. That means he just has more upside to be a better basketball player than whatever contract you sign him with. I could see a situation where Caris, because we saw it, for as good as Caris was to start, his play did tail off when he got hurt. And he's always going to have these injury risk things. I mean, it's hampered the entire beginning when he was drafted, right? He fell in the draft primarily because of his injury history. And so that's where they're separated between the two. But ideally, honestly, if the Hawks could sign all 3, if the Hawks could sign Caris LeVert, Nickeil Alexander-Walker, and Ty Jerome, sign all 3, abundance of riches, go into tax. Let's try to get happen. That's not going to happen. That's not going to happen. It's not going to happen.
It's not. But
so if it's 2 of the 3, I'd probably want. Honestly, I'd probably want Nickeil Alexander-Walker and Ty Jerome, with Caris being third. Even though I it hurts me to say that because I really like what Caris brought to the Hawks. I just think Nickeil is a more talented player. I actually, unfortunately, with what happened with Beasley, I could totally see the Pistons being like, "Hey, we'll offer you same amount of money, but you're also going to start for us." Because guess what?
Well, I was going to say it. So again, we're kind of flying blind a little bit here. It's Sunday afternoon. Beasley things happen. There's been some reporting. Mark Stein, I know, had something. Somebody else that I think pretty obviously the Pistons are now going to look to move, if they can, Simone Fontecchio, who's not a bad player but makes $9 million, and create space to where they can make an offer to Nickeil that the Hawks can't just unilaterally make. Go ahead.
Speaking of optionality,
Fontecchio? Yeah.
Simone Fontecchio, he wasn't as good last year, but I mean, the year before he's a fine bench piece. Would help.
I do think that I get why people are centered on pretty much the 3 people you just named in some order. Nickeil, obviously Caris being the incumbent free agent, and Jerome.
I think, by the way, Caris is going to be back. I think Caris is going to be back.
I've always thought that was the most likely scenario. Not 100%, but I think it's likely. But to your point, like there's been some buzz about this. I've heard this too. I think Mark Stein had this. The Hawks have also been willing to entertain conversations with their trade exception to bring some players in along with an asset. Like, and to me, that means a pretty good player that can help you, but also a deal that someone's trying to get rid of, a la Terrence Mann in reverse, basically. Like Fontecchio might be one like that. That wouldn't be no one would think no one's that's not sexy to anybody. I get that, but that kind of guy. And by the way, he would fit the bogey exception, not even the bigger one. But there's optionality. I think that it could be as simple as sign 2 of those 3 guys, LeVert, Alexander Walker, and a sign and trade probably, because I don't think he's going to sign for the mid-level.
I think there might be a way, because I was reading some stuff that stay under the tax, like if they're willing to trade Kobe, right?
Yeah. So there's some. It depends on what.
There's a maneuvering I think they can do.
It depends on. I have the options. Like it depends on what LeVert signs for, which is a big question. We don't know what that's going to be. Also, Alexander Walker might get $20 million from somebody. And if that's the number, then that becomes harder. You're right. I mean, there are 2. The only smaller salary that's not like the minimum the Hawks have is Kobe. That's not like a core player. So if they needed to shed some more salary to duck the tax or whatever, like Kobe is the one that you would probably have to do that with, because they could decline Dom Barlow's option. That's later today, maybe. But Dom just makes the minimum, basically. That only saves you like a few dollars, like not meaningful money. And Veet and Mo are really cheap. They don't really save you money either. So it really is, if they have to make if they want to make a cost-cutting move, Kobe would be the one to do that with. But look, the optionality thing is a joke. I get it. But it also is 100% true. Like they have so many different ways they could go here. And I get everyone's focused on these 3-4 guys. But I shared on Patreon my here's 100 free agent list. I'm not saying they have to go after all these guys, but there are a ton of free agents. And then there are even more trade candidates. And every time Onsi's been asked about the roster, it's like, hey, free agency, but also we can make trades. And it's like, yeah. You can. It's hard to try to project trades is impossible.
But just to get back to the point, like they do need a Ty Jerome type. Like they need all that stuff. Unfortunately, they need all those things because I mean they've lost a lot of talent. They need all. I could see. Unfortunately, I don't think if Larry Nance is willing to take the minimum, but I don't think the Hawks are in a position.
I actually think that Larry. I can't remember if I said this on the podcast or not. I think Larry taking the minimum is very possible for one reason. Larry Nance Jr.'s minimum, because he's been in the league for so long, is like $3.9 million. And half of that or whatever, the league. So for veterans, this is in the weird CBA thing.
Yeah,
for older veterans, the league subsidizes part of your contract. So you only cost the minimum to the team, but you get paid at your minimum number. So basically, he only costs like $2 million for the Hawks, and he gets paid almost $4 million. Which that might be enough for Larry Nance. Like if Larry's got only like $5 million on the table somewhere else, he might take 4 from the Hawks just to stay here because he likes it here.
He likes it here, and it's a good place to be. So maybe he's back, but I just think I think it's important that they get another shot creator.
They have to have one.
Who can play without Trae Young on the floor, which is vital. Like because I mean we saw bring up the Pacers again. The Pacers had such a winning advantage that they could take Tyrese Halliburton off the floor, bring in TJ McConnell, and lose nothing.
Lose nothing. Yeah.
That and like actually gain stuff because he brings a different element that you have to account for, which the Thunder weren't doing for some reason. I don't want to talk about the finals anymore. But that's to take more pressure. Like ultimately. The biggest takeaway I have with the 2 playing games is that too much was riding on Trae Young to do everything. Way too much was riding on Trae at the highest level. Trae had to do everything. The second he sat, things would collapse, and he had to immediately come back in the game. So then he had to play more. He had to bring the ball to the floor. He had to hold the chair. He had to serve the food. He had to cook the food as well. And then he had to eat it by himself. Like he couldn't share it with nobody except for Onyeka. Onyeka was helping out a little bit, but that's another topic. But just overall, it's just way too much focus and attention was on Trae. The Hawks need to build a team to where if you're putting that much attention on Trae Young, you're going to get destroyed because of it.
Yeah, and
they did that in 2021 with Bogey and Gallo, and they have a real opportunity to do that again this offseason, which is what, like, regardless of who the players are. And again, they do need another point of attack defender. But regardless of who the players are, that has to be priority.
They have multiple needs. They know it. I mean, look, it's not to pile on, but the wing depth chart at this moment doesn't exist, basically. It's the 2 starters, Veet, and then that's it. And Veet's more of a 2 than he is a 3. So they know they have to add. And look, if they add LeVert, who they already have had, that really helps you. But you need even more. You need another wing beyond LeVert. If you add Ty Jerome, you need another wing. Like, Ty Jerome is a combo guard. Nikhil Alexander-Walker is really good. He doesn't really create shots. Like, he's much more of a supporting role player type, which is great. I love role players. But if he's your big domino, you have to bring in somebody like Jerome or LeVert to create some shots for you, because he's not.
And ideally, you would want both. Like I'm like, you would want. Yeah,
my ideal scenario is basically to sign Alexander Walker and LeVert.
And to me, this is maybe the last thing we talk about.
Yeah.
If you're like serious, like, hey, we want to win a title, the Hawks shouldn't be afraid to pay the taxes this season.
They should not be.
They're willing to pay the tax. Like, considering as long as they don't go over the first apron, they should be okay with not doing that.
They're not allowed to anyway. They're actually going to be hard capped because of the Porzingis trade. So
okay,
that's fine. That gives Tony some cover.
but it's just me. I'm like, take advantage of the opportunity that was given to you. You got gifted, a future potential top 5 pick in next offseason's draft. You got gifted Kristaps Porzingis. You gave up nothing to get.
Not nothing, but close.
Brett, what else could the Hawks reasonably get for Niang?
Oh, no. That is true. The pick
value. What else? The pick.
You're right.
Fair.
Yes.
But I'm speaking of.
No, you could not have possibly gotten a higher upside piece.
What else could what was the opportunity cost lost outside of losing out on the 22nd pick?
Yeah, you could have gotten
which got muted by. I mean, it became pick mutual when they make the trade. But still, I'm like, what opportunity cost is really lost? Losing out on drafting somebody 22nd overall in this year.
You were never going to get
in this year's flex draft.
Upside. Yeah, I mean, the upside Porzingis brings to bring it all full circle was easily the highest thing that they could acquire using that package or anything similar.
Porzingis is an all-NBA caliber player, and they gave up the 22nd pick. And
start knocking on wood right now. He can play 60 games. It's never going to be 75, just for everybody's sake. It's not happening, so don't even bank on that. You need 55, 60, you'd be thrilled, I think, with Porzingis.
I'll say, I'm going to be honest, Brad. The Hawks get 50 games for Porzingis. They're going to be in prime position.
It's still a great trade if that happens and all those things. So I'm going to let you get out of here because you got a dream game to go to. Before we go, I know you got stuff to plug, so go ahead and do that now. We got 5 minutes left. So,
well, I'm going to plug the dream here a little bit. Sorry.
Oh, all right, go ahead.
Yeah. One, they have a chance this season to do something special, but they still working out some stuff that they need to work out with their rotation. They need to. To me, I think they need to add another player to help with Ryan Howard and Alicia Gray, because they're just playing too much and they're getting tired at the end of the games and they're not able to generate quality looks when the games matter because they're literally too tired to, like, I'm at the arena. I'm like, man, this is not working. Like they're walking the ball at the floor. They got no juice to get off these screens to get downhill. Like they don't have the juice no more. Like they got to make a move to improve the roster, but they can do that. They're in a position to do that. And I really think they've taken their lumps the last couple of years, and they've really built one of the better teams in the W. And like if you're in Atlanta, go out to College Park to support them, because Like the in-arena experience is incredible, and they're like legitimately a great team and fun to watch. Shout out to Tahina Pow, like incredible rookie that they got, who probably should be playing more, but I don't want to get too much in the weeds here. But like overall, like Dream are a fun watch. I'm about to head to the game. Shout out to them, and shout out to Coach Smesco, who came from a lower D1 school that they hired. Like, talk about thinking outside the box to improve your situation. Like I think he was at Florida. I forget the school name, but it wasn't a major D1 school, but it was a good women's basketball program, and this organization found him, offered him the job, and he took it. And like, I really think he's one of the better. I mean, I think he's one of the better basketball coaches I've, just period, just regardless of what, man, women, doesn't matter. Like what he's doing is pretty dope. I actually think he might, if he wants to, I think he could, do whatever, just because like his coaching acumen is that good. And he's gotten like Brittany Griner, like, one of the all-time greats in like Brittany Griner.
Hall of Fame basketball player, Brittany Griner.
Brittany Griner to be basically the third big on his team. Like, and the buy-in and like to be in the moment every time. Like, if I got to sit you because I got to play a different way, I'm okay to do that. He's got multiple women on his team to buy into what he's doing. And that's why I'm like, hey, this team has a chance to be really special. But again, they got to make some more moves. But shout out to the Dream, and shout out to the W for breaking my heart when the Dream lose. Like, I'm fully committed as a fan. So.
No, we're not. They're not moving. We're good. We're good. We're hanging in. I've been watching more Dream too. People always ask why I don't cover the Dream. It's simply a time issue. I would like to cover the Dream. I just don't have time. But I have been watching. I'm enjoying the basketball. It's good basketball. So people should be checking it out. Tyler, thank you for being here. ATL 29 is always running. People should be subscribed to that podcast. I'm an every show listener. You, Kevin, Glenn, in some form, some combination of the three of you, generally speaking. Thank you again. Go watch the Dream. Everybody else, please subscribe. Free agency begins on Monday evening, officially 6:00. Today, if you're listening to this immediately, Don Brolo's team option decision is 5 p.m. today. I don't know how it's going to go. It's 50-50 for me. They could exercise it. They could decline it. We'll see. So stay tuned. I'll have full coverage of that.
It's going to be the third option. They're going to move it back.
That's the third option. As I did with Bruno before. Just stay tuned. We'll have it all covered here on the podcast. Thanks again to Tyler. Please subscribe to this podcast. We'll see everybody next time.